This is number 19 on the practice midterm. Sam is a customer at Citizens Bank. Each time he writes a check for insufficient funds, he is charged $50 as a penalty. So insufficient funds means he's writing a check for more than he has in his account. Okay, so Sam has $230 in his account, and then he writes checks for $18.84, $116.22, $42.13, $93.17, and $13.12. What is his current balance? Okay, so the first thing I want to say about this problem, I know this is an algebra class, but just because you're in an algebra class doesn't mean you need to use algebra for every single problem. I think in this problem, it's sort of forcing the issue if you try to use algebra because things change. Sometimes there's a fee, sometimes there's not a fee, depending on his current balance. So let's see if we can work with these numbers and take everything into account. So what's happening when he's writing a check? Well, he's got some money in his account. So let's say there's a starting balance. Let's make this a little smaller. Let's say there's a starting balance. So in this problem, he's starting with $230. Right? Then he writes a check. So let's look at just this first check, $18.84. So he writes a check for $18.84. Now, there may be a fee if he has insufficient funds. For this first check, there's no fee because he has enough money in his account to cover the $18.84. So actually, you know what? Before the fee, let's say, what would be his remaining balance? That will tell us whether or not there is going to be a fee. So the remaining balance, if we take $230 and we subtract, remember, if you're writing a check, that money is coming out of your account, so you're subtracting. And if you take out a calculator, you do 230 minus 1884, you'll get a remaining balance of $211.16. And now there may or may not be a fee. In this case, there is no fee because there are sufficient funds in the account. And so his ending balance because there was no fee, is going to be the $211.16. Okay, so that's just for the first check. So now let's look at the second check. The second check is for $116.22. So for writing that second check, we're starting with the $211.16. Right? He writes a check for $116.22. So when that money comes out of the account, again, this is subtraction. So we're basically doing minus the check equals the remaining balance, and then you're going to subtract the fee if there is one, and that's going to be the ending balance after that check. Okay, so when we subtract the $116.22, that's going to give us a remaining balance of $94.94. Then the fee, well, there's no fee because, again, sufficient funds. He has not overdrawn his account, so we're subtracting 0, and we'll have an ending balance of $94.94. So as that balance goes down, he becomes in potential trouble of overdrawing the account. Okay, so check number 3. So now let's do the $42.13. So he's got $94.94 in his account. He writes a check for $42.13. So we're going to subtract that $42.13 off of his balance. And again, pop this into a calculator. You'll have a remaining balance of $52.81. There's no fee because still he has money in his account to cover the check. So his ending balance will be $52.81. Now, just because this is how I'm setting up the problem doesn't mean this is the way you have to set it up. Just this is a way that makes sense to me in terms of how to organize all of the information in this problem. All right, so we've got check number 1, check number 2, check number 3. So let's move on to check number 4, $93.17. Okay, now there's a problem. He only has a starting balance after those first 3 checks. He only has a starting balance of $52.81. But then he writes a check for $93.17. Definitely doesn't have enough money in his account to cover that check. So when we subtract off that $93.17, we're going to get a negative number. Negative. So now his balance is negative $40.36. So now there's a fee. So we're going to subtract off a fee of $50. Right? Each time he writes a check for insufficient funds, he is charged $50. So because of the check and the fee, now he's got a negative balance of negative $90.36. And there's still one more check. Check number 5, so that's the $13.12. So he's starting with a before writing that 5th check, after the first 4, he's got a balance of negative $90.36. Then he writes a check for $13.12. So his balance is now becoming more negative. So now he's at negative $103.48. So negative 90.36 minus the 13.12. Now we're at a negative 103.48. Again, insufficient funds. So now there's the $50 charge again. Every time he writes a check with insufficient funds, there's going to be a $50 fee. So this is the second $50 fee. So that will give us a balance of negative $153.48. So after the 5 checks and the 2 fees are all subtracted from that original $230, we could say as our final answer, Sam's current balance is negative $153.48. All right, again, algebra, yeah, it didn't really seem like we needed algebra for this one because it was just a lot of arithmetic and organizing the information that's given in the problem. All right, that does it for number 19.